Joining me is Geri Halliwell, who back in the day was known as Ginger Spice, and the author David Sinclair, who's written a book about the Spice Girls phenomenon. Welcome to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, Geri, first of all, we should make it clear, this is a musical using the music of the Spice Girls, but it's not the Spice Girls' own story, is it?
No, it's not. It's more about, it's Judy Kramer, the producer of Mamma Mia, and like Mamma Mia, it's a different story, just using ABBA music, and they've used Spice Girls music for a different story about our times today.
Yeah. They're called jukebox musicals, apparently. She doesn't like this.
I don't like that term either because, you know, our music, the Spice Girl music, helps tell the story. So it's not just his Spice Girl music. So it stands on its own, the story.
David, put a little bit of this into sort of historical context, because there are lots of boy bands and girl bands put together, created, as it were, but the Spice Girls were the real pioneers, weren't they?
Well, I think so, Andrew. I mean, you've got to remember back in those days that there were no girl groups, and girl groups weren't considered to be a viable proposition. And when the Spice Girls came along, they just exploded on the scene, changed everything, and by the time they'd finished, the place was full of girl groups. And so I think that they did have a huge effect on the music business, and in a way, you know, this musical now takes you...
Yeah.
It's the legacy, if you like, of what the Spice Girls did.
Yeah, let's just have a quick little look at a bit of the musical there. That's it being rehearsed. That was a very quick bit.
That bit that you just saw was, because there's some really great characters in it. There's, you know, some middle-aged couple in there that, you know, are getting it on, and it's awkward and funny. It's about relationships between mother and daughter.
Yeah.
You know, the actual, and it does have subtext. So I know a lot of viewers are quite intelligent watching your show, and some are, and it's joyful and funny, but it has got this kind of undercurrent tones of, you know, whether it's about family, power, judgment, all those things.
Yeah.
You really feel filled up when you leave.
And what's the condition of girl power these days? Actually, a lot of you have got girls of your own now, haven't you?
That is true.
Lots of girls.
That is true.
Girls, yeah.
You know, I think that term "girl power" has existed from, you know, from time began, whether it was Elizabeth I or you know, the suffragettes.
The original Spice Girl, Elizabeth I.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Or the suffragettes.
Yeah.
You know, and it just changes in different forms. And you know, today there's lots of women of girl power.
Yeah.
There's people power.
Yes.
As well.
And David, I mean, we now live in the era of the X Factor and all of those TV shows. But the legacy of the Spice Girls musically.
Well, I think musically they left a bunch of great songs, basically, and I think that in some ways you could say that they did introduce a new era of celebrity television, celebrity culture, if you like, which in some ways, some of that's not been so great, but then, you know, that's hardly their fault, is it? And but I think they definitely did change the landscape of pop in a big way at that time.
Geri, sort of, you know, reflecting a bit back, it must have been an extraordinary thing, because, you know, you were all plucked out, you were trained, you didn't really know each other before the group was put together, and then suddenly, kind of, it seems, sort of whoosh, you were a global phenomenon, and the pressures of that must have been amazing.
You know, I refer it to, like, you know, making Frankenstein. You know, you had Dr. Frankenstein try to manipulate and make something, and what happened with the Spice Girls is most interesting, is that we became our own entity, our own selves, and we, you know, took on our own life force, and became very authentic as a group. And I think that was really the authenticity of it and the success of it. There's real friendship and support there.
And the relationship between all of you became very... And when you left, because you just had enough at one point, they started to write songs about you, saying, well, what are you up to? Come back.
Yeah, that's very flattering and nice and sweet and, like, very heartbreaking at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
So fingers crossed for this. Everyone is saying, you know, this may well be the next huge West End smash.
Have you got children?
Yes, a little older than for this, I'm afraid.
I think this is a show for everybody, actually. I would say, you know, whether you're 5 or 50 or, you know, 105, you're going to enjoy this. I think you should come along.